So, this is Brian Scott Sherman, and he's an old friend of mine. I met him working, I was a civilian at Scott Air Force Base, and he was an Air Force Master Sergeant,
Correct.
I believe, at that time. He got to be a pretty good friend. He's one of those people that can insert humor into the most tedious, miserable day that you might be having and get a smile out of you. So let me introduce him a little bit. He's married, his wife Tiffany, and he are very proud parents of 4. Brian's career in the U.S. Air Force spanned over 23 years, culminating in the elite status of Senior Data Systems Analyst. I got this information from him. You'll see that he's a pretty humble guy. Along the way, he achieved some impressive credentials, including class speaker at the U.S. Air Force Leadership School, where he also earned Distinguished Graduate, and graduating in the top 10% of his class while attending the U.S. Air Force Non-Commissioned Officer Academy. He really does have a little bit to brag about. He is the author of the book Lessons Learned, and his essay work has been recognized by Time, Newsweek, Life, U.S. News and World Report, and Reader's Digest. Since his retirement from the Air Force, he has been employed by Camber Corporation, where he currently leads a highly specialized DoD computer network security team. Throughout his travels, Brian has gained a rare understanding of peoples and cultures around the world, and I believe he plans to share some of those insights today. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, Brian Sherman.
Thank you. What an honor to be here today. See? My little spotlight. This is my light show.
Can everyone see the slides? If not, you may want to shift around a little.
By a clap of hands, is everybody having a good time? Fantastic. I tell you, I'm feeling absolutely fantastic. I mean, really, to be the center of attention to a room filled of beautiful women, come on. I can wipe off another one off my bucket list. Thank you for the kind introduction, International Commander Lady Deb Pulley. Speaking of which, let's give her a round of applause for organizing such a great event. I was informed that today's theme is friendship. So let's have some fun. By a show of hands, how many people in the audience today has a friendship with their vehicle? Couple. Now, if I was next door, almost everyone would have their hand up. How many people, by a show of hands, consider their pets their friends? The distinguished guest right here next to me said, "That's my child." How many of you have friends in the audience here today? Great. And if you're married, how many of you consider your husband your friend? I would expect that at a Shriners. The reason I ask those questions is friendship comes in many different forms, but no matter what type, they all should be cherished. Slide 1 right here. I'm the short guy in the purple shirt. This was taken a couple years back at my 30th high school reunion. And would you believe at one time, honest to goodness, I towered over these guys. I really did. I've been this tall since 7th grade. I did not grow another inch height-wise since 7th grade. So I was like the star baseball player, football player, and then we were in our junior year in high school. That's when they said, "See you later, Brian." The guy standing behind me is Jeff Jessup, and I used to refer to him as my little friend. Now he refers to me as his little friend. How times change. I felt so small in that picture that I just shouted out, "Deplane, deplane!" Next slide. And I don't know, let me read this because I hope, can you all read it?
Take the mic with you.
All right, because I think it's pretty important to my next friend. And I believe you know who he is, right, Deb? Bill Zerdowski?
I think I met him. I don't.
Great guy, great guy. Anyway, it says, there are some people in life that make you laugh a little louder, smile a little bigger, and live just a little bit better. Would you agree? And this transitions to one of my friends, Bill. He's about 25 years older than myself. We've been through a lot. Been all over the United States traveling through the years. And in this particular short story, we were on a business trip to the East Coast, and the wind was terrible. I mean, absolutely terrible. Similar today. And my hair was just going all over the place, right? So I looked at Bill again. He's 25 years my senior, and I said, "Bill, today is a terrible toupee day." And you got to know Bill, right? And he gets real serious. He goes, "Brian, do you wear a toupee?" And I said, "Well, yeah, Bill. You didn't know?" He goes, "No." He goes, "My goodness, they make them real these days. Yours even has a bald spot in the back." Bill, the same guy, Bill, he is the ultimate family, dedicated family man. He raised 4 boys, put them all through college, and left them with no debt. Isn't that great? Gives me goosebumps just to say that. Everything Bill did, it seemed like it was for his family. And so he just could not understand why our colonel, who was in charge of our office, why he and his wife never had any children. So Bill goes in front of the entire office, "Colonel, why did you and your wife never have any children?" And I mean, think about that. That's a very personal question. Thankfully, the colonel didn't mind, and he goes, "Well, I was sent on this deployment, that deployment, went on this TDY, this remote, and before we knew it, time ran out." Bill got that serious look again, and he goes, "Colonel, you realize it only takes a few minutes." This guy right here, his name's Duke. Has anybody, by raise of hands, ever seen the movie Marley and Me? All right. This is Marley on steroids. I did not know what I was getting into. I volunteered to watch Duke for my friend, why he and his wife went to sunny California in the middle of winter. And Duke, you had to keep your eyes on Duke like 24/7. I mean, I'm not lying. You took your eyes off of Duke, he was chewing something that he should not be. Okay? And I got to kind of give you all a visual on this next one. I mean, I couldn't even water the dog. Because every time I water, he'd come running and just wait. And the moment you put down the bowl, he'd take the bowl in his mouth, of course, spill the water all over the place, and run around the yard playing catch me if he can. Okay? So I outsmart her. You know, I got to get a little more technical on him. And so I filled the bowl while he was not looking. And I'd get down on my knees, okay, like this. I'd actually have to hold the bowl down so he would drink. You do not know how many wet kisses I got during this procedure. Next slide. Look how tall that dog is. Okay, I threw that in there just so to give the next little segment some, where you can believe, yeah, he stood on my shoulders. I got up and let Duke out in the morning prior to work, like I always had done during the week. And instead of Duke running out to the yard to do his business, this particular day, Duke sat down right outside the door and, just gave me that beautiful German Shepherd look, as if to say, I love you, buddy. Can I have a hug? You know, and I'm all dressed for work. But who can, I mean, really, I couldn't turn my back on that. So I proceeded and threw all caution to the wind, all right? And Duke goes from a sitting thing up to a standing position, puts one paw on one shoulder, one paw on the other, and there we are, like new best friends. You know, I'm rubbing him down, and he's licking my face. Next thing I notice and feel is this warm substance going down the front of my work clothes. I look down, and I witness Duke fully relieving himself on me. Needless to say, I was late to work that day. Okay, now this one, you're going to have to bear with me because you all just ate lunch, all right? And it's a little gross, but it's very touching. And these were my role models. I would not be here today if it wasn't for these two people. That's my grandmother and my grandfather. They're gone now, but they live in my heart daily. And I would have done anything, and they would have done anything, vice versa. We would have done anything for each other. And let me give you an example. All right. So it was at the end of one of the best Christmas parties my mom and dad had ever had. We still talk about it in our family history, okay? And Grandma, believe it or not, had one too many. And I'm just a young little kid, and to that point, I had never dreamed of seeing my grandma somewhat intoxicated, all right? So I thought it was kind of funny, to tell you the truth, because she's always like Doris Day, everything had to be perfect, so it was kind of nice to see her let her hair down for once, right? My grandfather said, hey, Brian, go help Grandma to the car while I say goodbye to everyone. So that's what I did. And I buckled her in, I hopped in the back seat waiting for Grandpa. When Grandpa got to the car, hold on, he looked back at me, he goes, watch this. Virginia, you know what we're going to do when we get home? What, Howard? We're going to make a nice nightcap. Oh, Howard, no, I've had my fill, silly. I don't need no more to drink. And they started going back and forth, just having a good time. And about 5 minutes goes by when my grandma's world starts spinning, okay? And all of a sudden, she starts moaning real loud. She's getting nauseated. And she yells out, Howard, pull over now. So my grandfather pulls off the highway onto the side of the highway. My grandma opens the car door and proceeds to vomit. Okay? She gets back into the car, puts her belt on. Grandpa gets back on the highway. And I would say, about another 5 minutes goes by, and Grandpa just couldn't resist, okay? Virginia, are you sure you don't want that nightcap? Howard, now stop that. I don't feel good. No, this ain't funny no more. Virginia, did you lose your teeth? Oh no, I think I did one through up. Brian? Yeah, Grandpa? You think you can locate the vomit? Really? Yeah, I think so, Grandpa. So we had to exit off the highway twice. Now, this is up in Chicago. It's cold, and there's a lot of snow, all right? So trying to find my grandma's teeth, there you go, was like finding a needle in a haystack. The only way we even had a chance is Grandpa was going really slow with his car with his brakes on. And then out in the distance, I see this steaming mass. And I go, there it is, Grandpa! Grandpa puts it in park right away. Ryan, go get Grandma's teeth. Really? I don't want to get gross, but you got to get the effect here. I mean, picture it. It's out there, right in front of the podium there, right? And I'm so nervous. I'm just a little guy, and that thing's just steaming away, okay? It's still steaming away because it's so cold. And I nervously approach it, and I'm not good at that anyway. I mean, I'm kind of getting sick right now telling the story. And I don't do it. And I get down on one knee, and I insert my hand down in that piley, goopy vomit. And I'm like, there they are. Get up, shake them off, and pretend you're my grandma, okay? And I give it back to Grandma. No, she didn't put it, no, not Grandma. She put it in her napkin, and she's giggling. I was her hero. Oh, thank you, Brian, thank you. And I think that's a good example that I would have done anything for my grandparents. Would you not agree that children have the most amazing imaginations? Yes? Yeah. This is my oldest daughter, Heather, when she was just a baby, of course. And I remember, I like cooking, okay? I like cooking. So her and I would go in the kitchen and kind of set up stuff like my cameraman's got set up. Honest to goodness. And we set up a big production, like we had our own cooking show. You know, and she had loved that. Actually, I loved it too. I remember Heather entertaining me for hours, acting like a big rock star with the stage show and everything. But it was the kitty cat routine that just drove me nuts. See, Heather had this fascination with kitty cats. We actually thought at one time we thought our daughter thought she was a kitty cat. And one of her biggest tricks would be we'd go to a department store, okay, and she would always want to sit in the middle of the cart as Daddy pushed her around the store, which I didn't mind one bit. My mom had to do the shopping, so all I had to do is entertain Heather. And I'm kind of a kid at heart, if you haven't noticed already. But out of nowhere, you'd hear meow, middle of a department store, meow, and then she'd lick her arms like their paws, meow, meow. I'd be, Heather, would you stop that? You're embarrassing me. You would not believe how many people like you looked at me and said, how could he do that to a mentally challenged child? All right, this one I really had to clear. Commander Lady Deb said, hey, Brian, just remember your audience. No profanity, keep it clean for the most part. So I really had to clean up this next short story. Now we do not have the 5-year-old, correct? Yep. No 5-year-old? Because I had already changed this whole thing. It would have been so cute too. But anyway, I volunteered for our squadron to play Santa Claus. And I had 18 families to deliver gifts on Christmas evening. And I had a pickup truck filled with gifts. And, that's no small responsibility, playing Santa Claus. I mean, when you put that, I call it the uniform on, you're Santa Claus, all right? I mean, imagine, you can destroy a child's imagination if you don't do it right. Agree? So I took it serious, In every house I did, my confidence was just getting bigger and bigger. So my production got louder and more confident. Every house. And I was down to about 3 houses to go. And the 3 houses were in townhouses, so there were 4 families in each unit, all right? And in my favor, it was dimly, very dimly lit. And one of the keys were leave your door slightly open, because Santa Claus don't knock, okay? So there's the door slightly open. I walk in, and I always announce myself, ho, 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 ho. Merry Christmas, ho, 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 ho. And I get down on one knee, Christmas tree, beautiful Christmas tree, and I'm putting the assigned gifts around the tree when I hear this, and I'm cleaning this up for you ladies. What the heck are you doing in my house? And I turn around, and up on the balcony, I see this huge, muscular man just waiting to beat up on me, right? But I'm in full costume. I'm in character. I'm Santa Claus. And I think, he's just playing. He just wants to have some fun. You know who I am, silly. Yeah, you're dead if you don't get out of my house now. Next slide will show me running out. Needless to say, I delivered it to the proper house. It was the next one over. That's my youngest daughter, Cassandra. She would say, peace to all. And, well, my time's up. Okay, my time's up here today. But I want to close it on somewhat of a serious note. Always remember, good friends are hard to find, harder to leave, and of course, impossible to forget. And the military families, and it's not just military families, but since I served my country, I've been associated with the military now for 33 years, we've had to say some tough goodbyes through the years. And so it really touches home, that statement to me, and hopefully it does to you also. Together, as friends and with the Lord's help, nothing is impossible. Always hold on to your dreams. Thank you so much for being a part of mine. You have been a fantastic audience. I had a blast. God bless, and thanks.